So I have the privilege of introducing Nikita Reddy, Supply Chain Management Academic from Mancosa, South Africa. She's going to talk about employability and building good attributes and skills. I have worked with Nikita for quite some time now. Mancosa is one of the really forward-thinking universities, private universities in South Africa, and they put a lot of work and effort into providing extra curriculum support for their students in supply chain management, master classes, and we'll be looking at building in some site visits and the like in the near future. So I think if anybody's got some good experience in terms of what it is that companies are looking for, she would have that, because she's working with academics all the time, and obviously part of her role would be to make them more attractive and employable. So it's really refreshing to have an academic organization that kind of embraces more activity by industry to make sure that their learners are equipped and ready to rock and roll. So I was going to say, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Nikita, but I don't see Nikita on the screen at the moment. I'm not sure if she's decided that she's going to go AWOL on me. Oh, there she is. I was a bit worried for a minute that I'd have to do your session. So Nikita, without you did your introduction. So thank you for your time and for being here. And I'm going to hand over for you to take the wheel.
Thank you very much, Tanya. I'm so honored to be here today. I will now be sharing my screen. So welcome, everybody. I'm truly delighted to be at the SAPEX conference and to be presenting to the young professionals and students. And after attending, I thought, now it's my time to share some of my experiences and knowledge with you guys, and also learn from the rest of our speakers today. So the topic is employability, building good attributes and skills. I thought that we always need motivation, and I think we've heard a lot throughout the day, and I thought, let's start off with a video. It is a motivational video, and I think I feel inspired every time I watch it. Remember, we're all on a different journey. Our paths crosses, and no matter what we do, we are achieving a goal, we are achieving tasks, and I think it's important to stay motivated. So I do hope that you enjoy this little video.
I didn't come this far to only come this far. I hear some people saying things like, when I make it, when I get to the top. I'll keep working hard until I get to the top, until I reach my goal. Let me tell you something. There's no end. Winners never stop. If you reach your goal, set a bigger goal. If you get to the top of the mountain, find a bigger mountain. It's the journey, the continued pursuit of growth, the constant seeking of improvement, the challenge. That's what makes life great. That's what makes a fulfilled life. I didn't come this far to only come this far. When I get this goal, I'll seek more. Not more things, more growth. Constantly pushing myself to be better. I didn't come this far to only come this far. I came this far so I could be strong enough to go further. So I'll be good enough to push myself hard. I'm only getting started. This is just the beginning. I'm proud of my achievements, but that doesn't mean I'll settle for them. Proud, but never satisfied. Proud, but forever hungry. Proud and always ready. Proud, but pushing. Pushing for more. Pushing for great. A true winner doesn't seek only the title. A true winner seeks growth. A true winner seeks greatness. It's the journey. It's the challenge. Don't tell me it's over. I'm just getting warmed up. If the journey wasn't challenging, the destination wouldn't be rewarding. It's the challenge that makes the greatness. You can't have a champion athlete without great competitors pushing them all the way. You can't have the greatest of all time without champions pushing them all the way. It's the journey, the process that makes the greatness. If you reach your goal, set a bigger goal. If you get to the top of the mountain, find a bigger mountain. If you want to be the best, you must outwork the rest. It goes without saying. The greatest work harder than the rest. They train harder. They learn more. They put themselves through more pain, more failures, more no's, more rejections. If your opponent does 10, you do 11. If they do 11, you do 12. If they do 12, you do 13, 14, 15. Sure, some of the greatest have talent, but none of that talent would ever be realized as greatness if they didn't put in the work. On the other side, think of all those with little talent that have created magic with effort. Effort will get you whatever you want in life. Fighting spirit, that's what I'm talking about. That heart that you know is inside you, you just gotta let it out. To keep going when life has you on the canvas. When everything seems to be conspiring to stop you, to hold you back, but you say no. You say not today. The strength to fight back, the heart to fight through challenges, and the determination to smash through unexpected obstacles. If you want more than most, you must work harder than most, work smarter than most, learn more than most, get up one more time, more than most.
So I do hope that you've enjoyed that little bit of motivation and that you can now look at your own journeys, look at where you've come and where you are going to. Employability is all about your attributes and how we add value to ourselves. So I just thought that, thank you, Tanya, for giving me such a lovely introduction. But I thought that I would like to reflect on myself, my journey. Who am I? So I will start with my first path, my first journey as a Bharatanatyam dancer. So most people do not know this, but I have started this classical art form, which is over 2,000 years old, at the age of 4. And the reason why I thought to share that journey is because everything that we do, every hobby that we do, every challenge, every bit of information that we learn, we take in some attributes and values. So through my journey as a 4-year-old, and I've graduated at the age of 14, I've learned self-discipline, commitment, time management. I used to cry on days of going to classes. I was like, do I have to? But I kept getting pushed and motivated, and my grandparents, my parents, they forced me. They literally said, you need to do this. But as I went along, I started to enjoy it. And eventually I graduated 14 years later, but not only as a graduate in dancing, but I've taken with me so many attributes and values that I use today, and that has helped me in my career and my growth. So I said self-discipline. We need to be disciplined in the art form. We need to be attending all of the lessons. We need to be, and it's quite strenuous. You can go out of here and Google the art form called Bharatanatyam. The word in itself will give you the complexity that it actually entailed. So I took a lot of values and attributes from that, from a 4-year-old all the way to a 16-year-old. I think even afterwards, I've still started joining my teacher, started passing on. It's also important to pass on your values and attributes to others. And whilst doing that, I was still in school, going through my high school journey, also not knowing where I have to be, what I need to do. I've even taken subjects like the S7 course, which was the bio, physics, maths, and accounting. And I'm like, I could do so many different things. I could specialize in so many different career paths. And eventually settled for commerce and BCom, the Bachelor of Commerce in marketing, supply chain, and management, because not knowing as well where I want to be, what I want to do. And then I found my passion in supply chain management because I liked the processes, I liked strategy, I liked modeling, I liked how we could transform raw materials into finished goods and all of the things that make companies efficient, right? So I also have the perception that our life surrounds a supply chain. Our careers all revolve around a supply chain. And I always have conversations with Tanya and many others in terms of the passion and the need and importance for supply chain management. So stemming from that, I then went into industry. I worked in the clothing industry for some time. I was a production coordinator. So we used to manufacture clothing for big retail stores like Mr. Price and Edcon at the time. So took care of every element of the supply chain, from sourcing, from costing actually, to sourcing, to testing of the material, to booking the DCs in time, to allocating factories, to getting in all of my materials to the factory, then ensuring it's packaged right. Every element you can think of, I've done. And I think it was the best experience of my life, coming from a supply chain background, having an honors in supply chain management, from theory into the actual works of things and what happens. But in that journey, I've built in so many attributes and values that I feel that has shaped me into the person that I am today and who I'm hoping to be tomorrow and going forward as I embark into my journey further into the supply chain area. Whilst doing that, I completed my master's in supply chain management, and then a disaster happened. The disaster happened in 2019, April. We had flooding and our community was in shambles. We had 80 homes that were washed away, 30 kids left behind, not knowing what's happening, whether they can even when their next meal is coming in, let alone having their school stationery, clothes, whether they even have their family members with them. It was really a space of uncertainty. And as part of our community project and part of the youth movement, we then went to try and assess the situation, look at what's happening. And I found these 30 kids. So the adults were making arrangements for food and shelter and clothing. But what happens to these kids? As kids, there's so many things that are lost. And they still have to go to school the next day. They all go to school. And what happens to them and their education? So I then had to introspect and go into that mindset, a shift of mind from industry and my full day of work, and then thinking about education, the impact of education and the lives of these kids. What do we have to offer them? How do they move from this storm? So I then started the exercise of going to them, forming the groups, teaching them basic language, maths, soft skills, sport, just to keep them busy and in touch with their education. Because it's so easy to shift from that with all the challenges that you have, right? So I thought to give back. And at that point in my life, I realized that, you know what, education is for me. And it's not just education, it's education for impact. And I've then joined Mancosa, whose vision strongly speaks for education for impact, innovative education, and education for a better society for all. And I've never looked back since. And from then, my journey as an academic, as a lecturer has started. I'm now heavily into research, into employability, because now what is the next step? We've got the qualification, some of us even have experiences, but what makes industry tick? What are they looking for? So my PhD is actually centered around that. So hopefully I can get that done soon as well. And that is my journey. But what I'm trying to tell you is that through that journey, there's different phases in your life that will cater for different values and attributes that you bring to the table. And that makes you who you are. Don't forget that. Don't ignore that fact. Keep it with you, because that is the soft skills that we're actually looking for. So without further ado, I'm just going to give you a very simple, it's not even a lecture, but I'm going to talk about three things: A, B, and C, which I will share with you just now. But before we get there, I'd like for you to just complete, there's two questions that I'd like for you to complete. You can scan the QR code, or you can go onto Google and type in slido.com with a password, just so I can get a sense of our audience here today and look at how we can tailor the session better. So if you could log in. So you just you can scan the QR code, or you can type it onto Google, slido.com. I don't see anyone on yet.
Has anybody joined yet, Nikita?
Sorry?
Has anybody joined us and answered the questions?
No, because I can see it's 0 participants on there. So if we could get some participants to just scan the QR code.
I can see the people online. And I was assured that can't see the questions. They don't see the questions.
Did they put in
And they're logged in.
slido.com? Can you see the question on my
There's
screen?
only a Q&A box. On the screen where you're presenting, yes, but there's no question where they log in.
They need to scan that QR code on my screen. There's a QR symbol.
So
Okay,
it
that's
seems
fine.
that they've
We'll
all
get
gone
back
in, but
to
they can't see the questions coming up.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Okay, we'll get back to it then, just for the matter of time. So
okay, now there is. It's showing
even
now.
this one. Can they try this one?
Yeah, they say it's working now. Are you seeing anything now?
I'm testing it on my side. Is it showing?
So you have to use the QR code. Anybody that's doing it, you have to use the QR code. You should start seeing results now because people are saying it's working.
Okay. Which question are they doing? Do they do which one works? Both.
I don't. Oh, employment.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. We see some movement happening.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Finally, technology. Right. So, well, 83% are actually employed. That's good. But although we're employed, we still have to remain employable, right? And 8% graduates and 8% unemployed. So, welcome everyone. The session is for all of us. So, don't worry. So the last question is your view on employability in one word. So you could even describe yourself, like in one word, how can you describe yourself as being employable? Or what comes to your mind? Just one word. I think we'll have to come out of it and rescan it. So I'm not sure, it's not coming up here as well.
There are words coming up in the chat.
Is there any problems with this one?
Second question not showing.
Okay, then it's fine. If they could just comment on the chat box then.
Perfect.
One
Okay,
word to describe them as employable. Not sure what happened. I think it probably expired. That I'm going to move on.
Okay.
So,
Nikita, I'm on.
This is
I'm
the
on
latest
now.
news. The unemployment rate drops to 34.5% in the first quarter of 2022. This is good news, right? But there is a large percentage of us that are still unemployed. And to think that it has dropped, especially during COVID, the floodings, most places, weather conditions, looting, to think that it actually is improved, right? It makes you think about how resilient South Africans are actually. There's so much opportunity that we actually find for ourselves. So during that time, if you looked at social media, we looked at our friends, families, everyone started their home businesses. Small businesses started rising. It's like if you are starving, you have no food, right? There is no food. What do? We then try to seek the opportunity in growing our food, but the whole key essence here is that we stay resilient, we find the opportunity, and we take it. And that's what my aim is here, to unleash that side of you, to look for opportunities, develop yourself, look at your attributes and build them towards your goals and where you need to be. So what are employability skills now, right? It's all about adding value. Employers are often looking for skills that go beyond the qualification and experience, right? We're not saying that it doesn't matter. It does matter. You do need to have a qualification. You do need some experience to build your foundation. But there is more. They want you. We need to provide that little more effort, the effort in terms of your soft skills, right? You need skills that are likely to develop over time. How do you apply that to your daily job? And that ultimately makes you employable. So we're all familiar with the transformation process, right? The input is what we put in. The process is how we add value. The process around transforming the actual good into an output. So let's take this model and apply it to yourself. You can apply it to you. You can apply it to you as a student. So this particular example is around online delivery and taking the student from an institution and transforming them into employable leaders. So we want you to not just graduate with a qualification, but you need to be employable. And you need to also possess the leadership qualities that industry really needs. We need leaders, right? So the input would be around the online learning institution. So I took online delivery as an example because I'm from an online learning institution. So again, it's my reflection. You need internet, you need a device, you need a facilitator. Then the process of transformation is the learning platform, your support services, effective communication, your objectives, your methods, the collaboration. So we've now started to introduce some collaborative work, and I'm very pleased to have SAPIC's Tanya supporting us in these initiatives with masterclasses. So this collaboration also enriches the process area of the students' transformation, where we can now align them to what is happening in industry, how does it align to the theory and the concepts that you have studied, and also form a network, a body of network to support your growth, your career growth, and to look out for opportunities, take the opportunities, and then convert them into your goals and your attributes at the end of the day. And the output is what you get. So I see that most of you are employed. So if you go through this process of transformation, right, you then look at improved performance, right? Yourself within that organization. You address your weaknesses. You increase the productivity to quality standards. You increase your innovation. Remember, you're not just working alone. You're coming through with so many attributes, so many values, so many networks, so many engagements. You know, we always think that by looking at a textbook or just reading an article, it's just you and the article. But you don't see how far that knowledge gets transformed into, right? Through your engagements, through speaking to people, through attending conferences like this. We then tend to learn and add value to ourselves, right? So it's all about maximizing the benefits. So we want to look out for these. I just picked out a few elements. So whatever opportunity you receive or perceive, you need to look at maximizing the benefits. We have to look at cost. We have to look at the effectiveness of learning, the flexibility, mobility. We have to be able to be agile. We need to move around. And be adaptable to the changes that we are facing currently. Accessibility, information retention, right? So it's all about taking this and putting it into your area and your need and your personal development, and to maximize that for your benefit. So remember, I spoke to you about A, B, and C, right? That's all we need to take home today is A, B, and C. Back to the basics. The A stands for your attitude, right? Your attributes, but mainly your attitude. The attitude revolves around your willingness to learn, the power of being a lifelong learner. You never stop. You don't just get a qualification and then that's it. Never. We keep learning. We keep learning. We have to adopt the attitude of being lifelong learners. We have to be resilient, which I'm sure we all are. We've proven it time and time again. Just know it, that you are resilient, adaptable. We have to be able to change, compromise, flexible. We have to be able to
Sorry, it looks like okay. And Nikita, we sort of just lost you there, just for the last 3 minutes. No, 30 seconds. And just to say, I'm hosting now because Tanya's off because of load shedding. So sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, okay,
Carry
it's fine. Okay, so just A is for your attitude, right? So all of these things are key to building your your attributes and your attitude towards being a lifelong learner, being resilient, adaptable, and flexible. Okay, so the next one is B, your behavior. We have to be reliable. We have to be dependable. That's what your organization wants. That's what the company needs. We need people that are reliable and dependable. We need to have professional etiquette, right? In terms of professional etiquette, there's 5 tips that I have for you, right? We need to honor your commitments. We need to be attentive, responsive, and proactive. Get to know the workplace culture. It's very important. Keep personal matters to a minimum. Avoid the negative side of office politics, right? So it's key things. I'm sure there's much more tips that you can find when you do research, but bear this in mind, right? Professional etiquette, from the way we communicate to the way we, our body language, right? To how we present ourselves is very important. Our morals and values. Never forget that all of those positive values that we've learned throughout our lives, we should always portray that and keep that at our forefront always, and integrity and ethics. The last one is C for communication. Right? There's a lovely picture with various forms of communication. We now have there's different forms of social media. There's various devices in which we can communicate on, but we need to work well with other people. We need to have good communication skills, verbal communication, non-verbal communication. We need to listen more. We learn a lot when we listen. Emotional intelligence, with all the technology and 4IR out there, emotional intelligence is important. Team working, negotiation, conflict. We need to know how to manage conflict and have an etiquette for conflict. Problem solving and decision making. So it's as simple as A, B, and C. Your attitude, your behavior, and communication. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you, Nikita.
So I can take my questions now.
Yes. I'm not sure if you wanted me to read, or if you can see on the side the words that people were using. We had quite a lot of.
Yes, I wanted to get there.
So, would you like me to read them to you?
So I can see them.
Okay, great. And then we were just talking, and yes, I agree with Tanya. As a nation, we are incredibly resilient. We talked about that yesterday. Very important for willingness to learn is a very important. Very important. Any other questions from anyone else who wanted to? Thank you. Thank you, Nikita. We've got quite a few people on the on the call, so they all were listening to you, and we'll be sharing your slides. And thank you to you, as I said to you earlier on the table. You are an inspiration to all of us, and SAPEX is very delighted to have a relationship with Mancosa, and mutually beneficial. And you have been you've been really great in your ongoing support of the association. So thank you for that. I enjoyed that. A, B's, and C's, very clever. I like the simplicity of it, and I think it's sometimes very important to going back to basics, as you mentioned. Brilliant. If you're happy to stay on, Nikita, and listen to the next session, or maybe be on the tables, we're going to be having our mentoring session from 3:00. So please stay with us. Please reach out to our brilliant mentors who are giving up the time this afternoon. And we'll see you in the next session. Thanks everybody for your interaction, and thank you, Nikita.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the glitch with the Slido. I'm not sure what happened, but thank you for your participation. I just wanted to comment on your words there. I see some brilliant words that came to mind: niche skills, efficiency, resilience. Yes, it's all part of employability, and I'm so glad that you're all on the same page. So all the best in your career and your way forward. Meet you soon. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks again.